Welcome back. Joining us now is Mohammed Bouchama from Gar Help Canada and Terry O'Keefe from OMVIC. OMVIC is the Ontario Motor Vehicle Industry Council. That's right. Okay, and we want to talk about here tonight is this latest online luxury car scam. So, Terry, maybe you can start and tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, Double Eagle Motors is the name of the supposed dealership. Well, they also have another name, Double Eagle Motors Arizona. And they advertise in online marketplaces here in Canada, Auto Trader, Kijiji, places like that, with ads that appear to be private ads. But when you call them, you're directed to this supposed dealership in Phoenix, Arizona. And very sophisticated website. 100 to 200 cars in inventory, all luxury or exotic vehicles, Porsche, Maserati, Bentley, Ferrari, things like this. The problem is the dealership doesn't exist, and neither do the cars. It's a complete fraud.
How did this come to your attention? Were a lot of people going and trying to buy vehicles from this dealership?
Well, it appears to be the latest iteration of a very similar scam that was happening earlier this year. At that point in time, there's 3 different dealerships, Ambient, Sprint, and Hussen. Yeah, same thing. Fictitious dealerships. One of the addresses was actually a cornfield. We did our best to alert the public to it, and they seemed to disappear. But I heard from a consumer last week who was thinking of sending a $42,000 deposit down to Double Eagle Motors for a Ferrari, and I asked him to send us the information, and we did some checking.
I shake my head when I hear something like that.
Yeah.
How can you send $40,000 without seeing the car, without knowing who the owner is, without knowing anything? You just saw a car, a picture of a car, and a website, and suddenly you're again wire $40,000. That just doesn't make sense.
So let's say this Ferrari, for example, I don't know, a 10-year-old Ferrari. How much would that normally go for, Mohammed?
Well, for example, the ad that I saw, the car was the guy was asking, I think.
Is that the Maserati I sent to you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
it was about $20,000 less than you might pay for it here.
Okay.
So people say, "Oh, it's a very good deal. I'm stealing the car. It's a steal." Well, right, it's steal for you're going to steal from you. So really, and unfortunately, people don't learn because, as Terry will tell us, I mean, last year, when 5 people in Ontario lost over $225,000.
Wow.
You know, through some scam like this.
So how would you spot these fake ads? What's the telltale sign besides the price?
Besides the price?
Yeah.
When you phone the number and they tell you the car's not in Canada anymore, it's now in Arizona, that should set off alarm bells. Now, they're very convincing because they direct you immediately to the website for this dealership, and it looks incredibly professional. As I said, very polished. Testimonials, reviews that they've created on third-party sites. So when you start doing your Google searches, you get hundreds of hits for this dealership. It looks legitimate, but it's not. And something else that a consumer can easily do is call up the regulator in that state or province and say, is this a licensed dealer? Does this dealership have a license? And if the answer is no, step away.
And I want to add a couple of things. This is supposed to be a dealership, okay? But there are a lot of private individuals advertising for cars that don't exist. And the lot of scams go like this. Oh, my husband just got called to go to Afghanistan. Or, you know, or we have, you know, we got a job in Europe, we have to leave right away, and the car, they would tell the car is worth half what it's really worth, okay? Can you wire the money and we'll send the car to you? Don't.
So in the case of a private sale, what should the checklist be that people need to do?
First of all, you got to see the car. If you can't, for example, let's say the car. I had a lady just a few weeks ago who called me. She saw a car in Vancouver. She's in Toronto. She saw a car in Vancouver, a 2009 Toyota Camry with 105,000 kilometers. Usually that car goes around 12 and a half, 13. The car was advertised for $7,500. That's impossible unless the car is right off, you know, right? But car proof, everything, nothing's wrong with the car. And she was ready to wire the money. Luckily, she called me.
Right.
I said, please don't. That car don't exist.
Not everyone's going to think to call you, though, right? Not everyone's going to think to call you.
That's the problem. You know, when she called me, I saved her $7,500 because she was ready to wire the, you know, the money. So make sure if you can't see the car, let's say the car is in another province, do your best to hire a mechanic.
Or an appraiser.
An appraiser to go check the car.
Okay.
All right. Make sure. Also, if you meet the person, ask them for a driver license. Ask them, you know, for the ownership of the vehicle. Make sure that they match. It's very, very important.
Okay, well, Terry, your organization, you do offer certain protections. At what extent do you protect consumers, and where are they kind of on their own here?
Well, that's an excellent question. OMVIC is the regulator of vehicle sales in the province of Ontario. You know, we enforce the Motor Vehicle Dealers Act and the Consumer Protection Act on behalf of the Ministry of Consumer Services. Consumers in the province are protected by OMVIC. They're protected by our provincial legislation. They're protected by the Motor Vehicle Dealers Compensation Fund when they buy from a registered dealer. If you choose to buy privately or you choose to buy outside the province, unfortunately, you're on your own. We won't be able to assist you, and if you do have a problem, it's going to mean hiring a lawyer because you're not protected by any consumer protection legislation.
All right, well, I think the lesson here on these scams is if it's too good to be true,
usually it is.
It probably is. So
and you got to do your homework, do your research, and if you don't, there are agencies, you know, I mean, like us, who can help people. I mean, we are there to make sure we give you all the information you need to make an informed decision, and that's very, very important.
An incredible deal is not an opportunity; it's a warning.
All right, good advice. Thanks to the both of you. Well, up next, the latest from the eco auto world with Eric Novak. Plus, we're going to have your calls and your emails.